You excellent.
Okay, thank you, Steve. I'm going to call this committee meeting of the City Clerk Selection Committee to order. It is 4:04 on June 1st. I'm joined by my colleagues on the committee, Councilors Victor Davila and Melvin Edwards, as well as councilors from the full City Council, Councilors at Large, Tracy Whitfield and Sean Kern. Thank you for joining us. This is our first meeting. We have 3 other scheduled meetings if necessary for tomorrow and for Thursday and Friday at 4 p.m. And the charge of this committee, as appointed by Council President Williams, is to put forth appropriate candidates for interviews by the full City Council for the position of City Clerk. Our current Our prior city clerk, as of today, Tashina Davis, has moved on to another opportunity in the Springfield Law Department, and that vacancy is what has triggered this search. So what I'd like to do in the open session portion, Councilors Davila and Edwards, is to just have a discussion in open session about what our process is going to look like. And then from there, we can go into executive session and start to look at the resumes and application materials that have been submitted and start to sort through them. So first, to talk a little bit about the position, the posted salary, which is subject to negotiation based on experience, is just over $92,000. And we've received, by my last count, a total of 72 applicants. And what I would propose that we do is go into executive session at some point after we conclude our opening statements and discussion about process. And I would say that our first step should be to eliminate candidates based on those who we find to not meet the minimum qualifications for the position, or for example, who don't meet the minimum qualifications for city employment in a position like this. For example, if an applicant doesn't live in the city and answered the question about being willing to move into the city within 12 months, and they said no to that question, no, I don't live here, no, I'm not willing to relocate within 12 months, then, for example, that's an example of a situation where the candidate would just be eliminated without further consideration. And so based on the last 2 selection committees that I served on in this respect, that's sort of how we did it. We started out and said, who can we eliminate on those baseline requirements? And then we dig a little bit deeper into the credentials of the remaining people and make a vote on a full recommendation in executive session to the full council before Friday night.
Sounds appropriate.
So, Councilor Davila, anything that you think we should talk about that process or sort of get onto the record about the process before we go into executive session?
Thank you, Chairman. I think you gave a pretty good overview. The one thing is people who don't live in the city who are willing to relocate, they will still make the cut, correct?
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. Okay. No, otherwise, I think you have laid out a pretty straightforward, easy path. And I look forward to collectively choose the best candidate to be a city clerk.
Okay. Councilors Curran or Whitfield, did you have any comments or things that you'd like to raise about the process?
Councilor Fenton, I just wanted to know when the application process closes.
Good question. I should have started with that. So the applications were opened on Friday, the 14th, just a few days after we got the announcement about the existence of this committee. And the applications closed on Friday, the 28th at 5 p.m. So the applications are now closed and they were open for 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And the posting that was listed was the same exact posting that was used for the last 2 city clerk vacancies that we had, which were filled by Attorney Wilson and then Attorney Davis. Councilor Kern,
Perfect, thank you.
thank you.
I
Counselor-
don't have any comments, Councilor Fenton.
Okay. So I think we're ready to go into executive session here. Before we do, I think that the committee has to decide how we feel about who can attend executive session. It's not normal for a committee of the council to go into executive session. Usually we're only doing that as a full body, an open regular meeting, or as a committee of the whole. In this circumstance, the three of us have been trusted with sifting through these applications, which include some sensitive employment information and some sensitive employment related decisions that we have to make choices on that are appropriate discussions for private session. But I think it's an open question as to whether it should be only the three members of this committee that deliberate in that executive session, or if other members of the council should be permitted to view those sessions and join them, even if they don't provide testimony. So,
If Councilor Fenton, Councilor Curran here, if I can add, it's not necessary for me to attend the executive session, just for committee's purposes. I just wanted to sign in to see the progress of this committee and get an overview of what's going on. But executive session is not necessary, at least for myself personally.
okay.
Yeah,
Council,
I agree. I just wanted to see what the process is, and I trust that you guys can sift through the applications and bring us the best candidates.
thank you very much. A tough job. Okay, so the two counselors who are not members of the committee have said that they don't intend to participate in the executive session. But nonetheless, I think we should still make a decision about this now, because although it's just Councilors Curran and Whitfield who are here tonight, it's possible that, for example, at a future meeting, another member may attend and the question could come up. So, personally, I think that we should limit it just to the three of us. And that isn't because I don't value the opinions of the other members. I think it's because this is going to be hard enough for the three of us to make decisions on. And all the materials will be available to the counselors. So anybody that wants to see the individuals who applied and has any questions for us about that during open session, we make our recommendations for interviews. I think we'll be available to answer those questions as appropriate. But the prospect of having other members, potentially several other members, on an executive session and providing comment on applicants, I think would make it difficult for us to meet our ambitious deadline of getting this done by the end of the week. So I would propose that we limit attendance in the executive sessions to just the three of us. And I'm comforted by the fact that Councilors Curran and Whitfield said that at this time they don't intend to participate. What do you guys think?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, you kind of just sum it up what I was going to say. I was going to suggest that those councilors who are here now in the first meeting could possibly attend the executive session if they chose, as to open transparency and just to any other thought or something we haven't seen. But I think that if nobody's going to attend today, then going forward, nobody should be attending the closed session, so that we can make a swift decision quickly and promptly. So whatever we decide today will be applying through the future meetings, of course. And pretty much I agree with you that it should be with the task that's been given to the three of us for efficiency reasons.
What do you think, Mel?
I agree. No problem with that at all. And in fact, we're going to present back a slate or not of candidates. It's not like we're going to decide who the clerk is going to be. We're going to vet a slate of candidates that will be presented back to the committee of the whole. I think that's the most appropriate way to do it. And at that point, all our colleagues will have an opportunity to vet the slate, and that will be done publicly. So for the sake of purpose of just speed and getting through this is difficult enough. Anytime you're talking about somebody's employment, for those of us, we take it very seriously. At least we all take it very seriously. And you're talking about people's livelihoods. money, liberty, and health. Those are really important things, and they should be taken very seriously. So I support just the three of us getting into it.
Okay, so I should say that any member of the council that wishes to see the application materials that we're reviewing, and there are over 620 pages of materials,
Yes.
those materials can be obtained from Human Resources. I've asked that they not be kept with the council office because this position will be supervising the council office. And so while the records are available for councilors to inspect, just if you do ask for them, please don't ask Susan or Kelly to be the ones to get it for you. You could go to HR directly because I would like to avoid them having the materials to the extent possible. Okay, so with that said, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing employment matters and applications for the open position of city clerk with the intention that we not return. Is there such a motion?
Motion is so made.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Okay, actually, I have to do a roll call because it's Zoom. So Councilor Davila on the motion to go into executive session and not to return.
Yes.
Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Councilor Fenton, yes. Okay, so we're going to go into executive session now. And if our friends at Focus Springfield could please assist us with that new recording. Guys, this is the link that ends in 0700.
Thank you.